Hey everybody, welcome back to Aramore. So how are y'all doing today? I'm doing pretty well, and as you can see, we've been working on this hospital complex, and yeah, if you're wondering which assets we used here, we used some of Senfkorn's assets. I believe that's how you pronounce the name, but I probably butchered that. But we used the University Hospital, I believe, and the University of Science and Technology building, and then we also used another building from the workshop that's way older. And that is the City Hospital asset. So the idea was here that the two Senfkorn buildings, once again probably butchering that name, are I guess newer additions, and this used to be a much smaller complex, and they're building on to what the City Hospital asset is, which is a lot shorter. It's a smaller asset, I guess, and way older. And I don't know, just the scale of the rest of the hospital, it's a huge addition. I don't know. So, yeah, just expanding off a smaller hospital, I guess, is the idea here. And yeah, when you add a story like that, it usually comes together pretty well. And I also use this little doctor's office asset. I believe it's called that, or it's a clinic or something, but that's also by Senfkorn. And I used that right there, obviously, at one of the entrances, and that worked pretty well, just as a little entrance addition, I guess. So yeah, the transparent glass in that asset's incredible, by the way. So yeah, we're actually moving on to the second portion of the episode. We already finished the hospital complex in 5 minutes, so yeah, I'm really happy with how that turned out, by the way. That was pretty much the plan all along, to build a hospital over here. And we've obviously got the children's hospital on the other side of the map. So yeah, this is just the main city hospital, and yeah, anyway, so as you can see right now, we're sort of expanding over here, building a couple suburbs. There are some apartments I'm placing by the highway here. Right now I'm trying to fix the highway a little bit. I'll go back to that a little later, and we'll add some underpass supports. But yeah, right now I'm just detailing. There's some mixed zoning here. Like, we've got like a Cape Cod house just on Main Street, I guess, here right next to a restaurant, and then some other commercial buildings, which I don't know. Mixed zoning's a lot of fun to do because it just ends up looking great because there's a huge variety of stuff going on. And then we've got these little lofts right there, and yeah, that's pretty cool. And then right now we're actually moving back towards the highway, which, once again, this highway sort of goes up onto a hill and then crosses the water passage that way. And yeah, you added those that Evan 27 guardrail barriers. Well, the cable median barriers, I think they're called. And they're really nice. They're like the best cable barriers in the workshop. I'm really happy some good ones finally came out. There were some before that were really nice, but they didn't conform to the terrain. But these do, and they're just great. So I've been using those a ton. And right now I'm just trying to play around with some natural resource textures. Also, the grass sprites are working again, so that's good. It was really annoying when those weren't working. They just randomly like stop, and then my theme decals model stopped working. It's just, I think it's definitely all related to Theme Mixer. So I want to transfer all those things over to my main theme as soon as possible, so Theme Mixer actually works. So yeah, anyway, or well, Theme Decals actually works. Anyway, so rambling a little bit here. We are once again expanding this suburb over here a little bit. This is pretty much the end of the island, or at least one of the corners. So right now I believe we're going to begin building this little cul-de-sac over here. So this is one thing I wanted to try somewhere in the city. I've built cul-de-sacs before in the city, but I've had this idea of doing them with ploppable asphalt and on the ground level concrete roads, and just making a perfect looking cul-de-sac. And I figured I'd try it here, and so I did that, and I'm trying to work with some of the curbs here from the workshop, some of the new King Leno curbs. But that doesn't work out too well. I just go for some Ronix curbs, and yeah, so this cul-de-sac ends up looking great. I think I posted this on Reddit a while ago. I don't know when exactly you're seeing this. I'm recording this on the 21st of August right now. It's pre-recording right now. So yeah, placing some of these American houses right here, and just trying to make this cul-de-sac look a little bit better, because it was a little bit misshaped before, but just adding the houses, it sort of evened itself out. So I don't know, this is really a big experiment, and the one thing about it is there are tons and tons of different ploppable asphalt circles placed there, so probably 50 props or something. So that's, it uses a lot of props, but it just looks really nice in the end. I don't know, I could probably manage it with less, but yeah, I'll try that another time. But anyway, just adding some road wear decals and stuff. Basic things like that, and just some drains at the end of the little road there. So moving forward, I detailed the shoreline around there off camera because it's pretty simple. It's just obviously just the surface rocks, the mountain grass, some shrubs and stuff. It's not too difficult, and I've been doing a lot of that stuff recently, so I decided to just leave that out of the video. And now we're filling in some of these streets here with some houses. So some of the streets are only have like 4 zoning blocks to work with. So that means I have to use 2x2 houses and 2x3 houses and 2x4, which means I have to use this specific pack of houses that is like a lot of red roofs, which I really like. I want to do a whole suburb with these someday. These are really nice because the thing is, since they're 2x2, they don't work with many of the other homes. I know Dex is using a lot of them in Clara, and I want to do that moving forward because these are really good houses that I haven't used, I guess, enough of. So anyway, added a lot of hedges there between the houses, and that just adds a lot when you actually just section the houses off. It's really annoying though. I've been doing it in pretty much every suburb recently, and it's just so time consuming, but it really does pay off. So anyway, yeah, so this area over here, I placed a colonial house by King Leno. I forget which one this is. It's one of the Walnut Bend assets. So this house actually is going to have its own little farm, believe it or not. So this is like the first farm in the city, I guess. This is pretty far off from downtown, and I guess this person's got a larger property, so I figured I'd give them a little farm, and yeah. Right now I'm trying to figure out which exact assets to use for this one. I ended up needing to, I guess, expand the fences, but it's just a little simple sorghum field right here, and yeah, I don't know. We're gonna have a lot more of these in the future, but this is just a really simple one, I guess. So adding some trees around the periphery of the property and placing down a pole barn here. So this asset, I used a bunch in Falcon Falls. I haven't really used it all in this series yet, just because I haven't had a use for it. But once we add some farms on the other islands, I'll definitely be using that more. So added some surface rocks on the shoreline, obviously, to finish that out. I think we're almost done with this property right here, just filling out the shoreline and working with some of the rougher terrain underwater. And yeah, lots of the terraforming is really rough from a couple episodes ago. So I'm still going through and, I guess, changing that and fixing it, I guess, because underwater there are just tons of little rough areas. So anyway, yeah, we're back to placing houses. So just placing some over here on the main street, which once again is mixed zoning. And this area I wanted to do that, just make it a little bit more interesting. And yeah, I'm actually still adding some bushes to this property here. I'm pretty sure we're almost done though. And yeah, anyway, this house right here that you see, the 2-family house, is really nice. Adding some shops on the main street here, and since this is mixed zoning, these are just right next to like a 2-family house and then an apartment building. So that looks way more organic than just having one block be commercial, one block be residential for a less dense suburb like this. I don't want to go for any like LA grids in this city at all. Nothing close. And once again, the suburbs have been really organic thus far, and I want to sort of keep it like that. So right now I am working on this little island over here. So this island is one of the smaller islands that are pretty much just uninhabited, tiny little things that are just have nature. I don't know. So just added some shrubs and trees and rocks and whatever like I normally would do a shoreline. And just having these here makes it look way better from above and just way more organic. And I don't know, just add some depth. So yeah, just filling this with the Padelmo shrubs and stuff like that. Mountain grass. I used only the Norway spruce trees. So in a moment here, we're going to move over to the hillside by this highway over here. So yeah, just opening up an area there just so it's not just trees. And for the trees I'm actually using here for the foliage, I'm just using the Norfolk Island pines, the live oak trees, and the Norway spruce trees as my really only trees when I'm doing areas like this. And then I use the mountain grass and Padelmo shrubs and stuff, and it's not too complicated. And just add some like ash trees every once in a while and stuff just to break it up. I don't know. And then on the periphery of the mountain grass, I usually just add some of these forest floor shrubs to, I guess, transition it, because the mountain grass is pretty tall and it's not meant to be used next to an area that's pretty heavily detailed. So yeah, now actually we're moving into the last portion of the episode, so this is just pretty much detailing by the side of the highway. Actually, first, before we do that, we're going to be adding some underpass supports, and yeah, these are obviously by Avanya, and I've been using these throughout the city on the highway. It's been an elevated highway, obviously, and I'm really happy I ended up going for that rather than a sunken highway or anything like that. And somebody actually pointed out how bad of an idea it was to do a sunken train station in the Pacific Northwest because of all the flooding, which is probably a good point, because obviously our central train station is sunken, and it's probably not a good thing, considering this is based in, obviously, the Pacific Northwest, so lots of flooding is going to happen there, but it's a little bit late to go back and change that. I don't know, I'm pretty fine with it, and it's not too far sunken down, so it's just slightly below sea level, but that should be okay. Anyway, so we're working on detailing these little apartment buildings here, just simply with some wall rocks, and then add some ploppable asphalt to the parking lots. It's pretty easy to detail a little area like this these days. It's also pretty easy to over detail one. Like, I've been going crazy when I place these apartments down, because it's really annoying to work around the parking, and this particular asset has parking in a pretty awkward spot. So this highway you're seeing here is obviously elevated, and it goes through the whole city that way, and it's separated by 2 avenues, as you might notice, and those avenues, obviously there's a little space in between, so I've needed to just place buildings and tons of buildings in that gap, but you don't get too much creative license there, because there isn't too much to do. I mean, you just pretty much either place trees or some decals or something and fill it, and I'm really happy that we're pretty much done with doing areas like that. It's just so annoying to deal with. Also, we were having some traffic issues at this highway exit. I actually fixed these later on off camera, and what was happening was the cars were like stopping at the nodes. Even just in the left lane, they'd just stop and wait. I don't know how I fixed it. I just pretty much copy pasted a different highway exit and just moved it over here, because I guess this one was bugged or something, but it's fixed now. And also the asphalt being so dark will be fixed next episode for the 2-lane highways, because obviously my exits, some of them at least, are 2-lane highways rather than the highway ramps. Somebody suggested that, and it's actually helped a lot, because most of the exits that I have, cars are piled up behind each other, but they want to go different directions, so that allows them to just sort of choose their lanes earlier on. But anyway, we're pretty much done here. I'm gonna say goodbye now and leave you with some cinematics, so hopefully you all enjoyed. If you did, be sure to leave a like. It really is appreciated. It helps the videos a ton. Subscribe if you're new around here, and hit the bell icon next to the subscribe button to get notified whenever I upload, so you never miss a video. And also make sure to follow me on Twitter, because I post tons about new episodes and teasers and stuff like that. You definitely don't want to miss those. So anyway, that's pretty much it for me. Hopefully you enjoy these cinematics, and I'll see you next time.